Let's switch this up. Since I've been talking about high school lately on here, I have to talk about the massive house party I threw the third week of my freshman year. I don't know why it took everyone 20 years to realize I had a hole in my brain, because that was a decision only a girl missing part of her brain could have made. My mom was out of town for the weekend with her friends, and my dad was taking my brother to some sort of sports game or something like 45 minutes away. The day of the party, I started getting texts saying that the upperclassmen were finding out and it was going to be this massive thing. Originally, it was only supposed to be a group of like 40 freshmen. So when I heard this, I started freaking out. I was like, should I cancel the party? What do I do? For some reason, I decided to call my aunt and ask her for advice about it. She told me that even if I canceled the party, word of it being canceled probably would not travel that fast and people would show up anyways and I would get in trouble anyways, so might as well have the party. I also made the fatal mistake of telling this older guy that I was talking to about my party. So him and his friends show up and my friends show up. For the first like 45 minutes, shit was fine. I was sitting on my couch in my basement staring off into space, having an existential crisis about how my life was gonna end the next day and my parents were actually going to fucking kill me. But for the most part, everything was fine. This was also during the era of Total Frat Move and Barstool. So like all of the high school guys were obsessed with doing really weird like fratty shit when they drank. Some of the guys started like drinking beer off my treadmill and putting beer cans in my ceiling. And then someone comes down the stairs to the basement and tells me that someone upstairs just on purpose smashed a wine glass into their head. I go upstairs to see what's happening. There's glass like everywhere in my kitchen. But some of my friends are already cleaning it up and they're like, don't worry about it, we have this covered. This was right around the point in the night where random people started showing up that I had not invited. And then my sister comes bursting through the back door. My sister was a senior when I was a freshman and she had been out with her friends and she said she got a text asking if there was a house party happening at her house. So she came home to check it out and obviously she saw what was happening. She then asked me if I wanted her to help me kick all these people out and I was like, please. Then someone said the cops were there. So everyone in my house leaves pretty much immediately. I really didn't freak out when someone was like, the cops were there. I just started cleaning up. And the guy that I was into stayed for like an extra 10 to 15 minutes to help me clean up, which was nice, I guess. The weird thing is the cops never came and like knocked on my front door. They never asked to speak with me. Like I never got in any legal trouble for that party. They were just like parked in my driveway trying to catch the kids who were like running away, which is so weird and also not at all how they usually acted when they busted parties in my hometown. All of this also happened within the span of 1.5 to 2 hours since the party started. I started cleaning up to the best of my abilities. Some of my friends stayed. Some of the older guys' friends stayed, which I thought was weird because I was like, why are you guys still here if your friend's not? But then one of them started hitting on me for the rest of high school, so kind of made sense. My dad had texted at this point and said that he was almost home. And my friends and I had been invited to go to this guy in my neighborhood's house like after my party was busted. I thought it would be less suspicious if I wasn't home when he got home. I come home later, my dad's chill, doesn't suspect a thing. The older guys who came to the party were wearing ties for some reason, and one of them had lost their tie in the driveway, I guess when they were running away from the cops, and my dad had found it and yelled at my sister for 45 minutes because he thought that she had her boyfriend over, and she never ratted me out. My sister takes me to the dump the next day to get rid of all the empty beer cans and stuff. I thought everything was cleaned up. Then my mom, with her hawk eyes, gets home on Monday. She sends a text to the family group chat asking if anyone broke a wine glass. That was the first thing that started making her suspicious. I then lost my phone later that day and she kept offering to help me look for it, and I kept saying no because I didn't want her looking anywhere too hard, and she ended up insisting on helping me, and she found a bunch of shit that people had left at our house that I had been stashing to give back to them, and she found a bunch of beer cans in the pool table, which is where I was stashing them before I could get rid of them and go back to the dump again. My parents sat me down and they yelled at me for what felt like forever. I ended up being grounded for almost a month. You would think after this experience I would have learned my lesson and never throw a party ever again. I threw 3 more parties freshman year. I didn't have fun at any of the parties I threw. I was so gut-wrenchingly anxious the entire time. The only reason I threw parties was so that my friends would like me and so that I wouldn't end up being excluded from whatever plans they made because the plans were at my fucking house. Let me know if you guys actually enjoy hearing my stories from high school because I have so many more. I'm trying to tell them in a somewhat chronological order, but if TikTok is actually getting banned, I'm just telling the craziest ones first. This is the final look. I gotta go to girls' night. I love you all. Bye.
Extremely toxic best friend story time. So when I was in 8th grade, there was this boy. And this boy would go around telling almost every girl that he liked her. And I was one of those girls. And he would do stuff with all of us. And there were like 11 of us. So we all hated each other. Especially this one girl, and we're gonna call her Abby. And every time we saw each other, we would be super mean to each other. Well, a year passed, we stopped talking to this kid. And I bumped into her at homecoming and basically apologized. So after that, we became best friends. And everything was good until every time I told her about a guy, she would start talking to them. Like this one boy that I was Snapchatting and talking to, she accidentally sent nudes to him and said, "Oh, sorry, I meant to send them to my boyfriend." So then she called one of my other best friends and said, "No, it actually wasn't an accident." And of course he told me because he was my best friend. So I was like, whatever, and stopped talking to the boy. And she did it again, like for part 2.
Here are the story times of weird shit that my psychotic father would do. My podcast episode last week, I told you guys like how I don't have a dad and stuff because he's like abusive. He's no longer in my life, but I was like, wait, let me make a TikTok just about like the weird shit he would do. Not even like the deep and heavy shit, just like the weird shit. I'm aware this is a serious topic, but I spent years healing from it, so I'm like, let's laugh a little. One time my mother like forced me to text my dad talking about one of my cheer competitions. All you guys need to know is that I misspelled competition in this text message. This man came in my room at like 11:30 at night, dragged me downstairs, made me sit down with a pen and paper and spell competition correctly. He was like, I can't believe you don't know how to fucking spell competition. Like you're a junior in high school. Like you're gonna sit here and you're gonna spell it correctly. And I was like, this is why I don't fucking text you because you're literally insane. It's like, you're gonna be here all night if you don't get to spelling, and like gave me a piece of paper and a pen and like literally forced me to spell it. Here's the issue. I still didn't know how to fucking spell it. Obviously, if I'm misspelling it, I do not know how to spell the word. Did he just think it was gonna magically come to me? So I'm sitting there, I'm like, competition. I'm sounding it out like competition. Like I still can't fucking spell competition to this day. He's like making me write it and I'm getting pissed. I'm like, you're so fucking dumb and weird. Like who does this? I'm screaming for my mom. I'm like, Mom! He's like, your mother's not gonna come and help you with this. I'm like, I just wanna go to bed. Like I have school at 7 in the morning. Like fuck how to spell competition. I don't need that. At this point, 30 minutes has gone by and I'm still not spelling competition correctly. And I'm like, whatever, fuck this. I'm going to bed. And he's like, if you move, I'm taking away your phone. I just look at him and I go, wait, my mother pays for my phone. You can't do shit. I awoke in the beast with that statement. At this point, my mother comes down the stairs and she's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, this fucking psychopath is making me spell competition because I misspelled it in a text message and I still don't know how to fucking spell it, Mom. Mom's like, just go to bed. Like, leave him. Like, just go. My dad's like, if you move, it's gonna be a problem. I'm taking your phone. I'm like, the phone Mom pays for? I walked up my stairs and took my ass to bed, but I was like, I literally still don't know how to spell competition. And guess what? I'm successful regardless. That's why we have autocorrect. But why the fuck did I have to sit and spell on it? Like, this man was just insane. This next story, my mom says, is the reason that they, like, got divorced. It was, like, a Thursday night, and I was cooking my sister dinner, and we're laughing. We're having a good time in the kitchen. So, obviously, I'm cooking dinner, and I have, like, the cabinets open because, like, I'm grabbing spices. I'm doing my thing. My father walks in the kitchen, and our laughs were like, ah, ha, 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 to, like, when that man walked in, we were like, what the fuck does the beast want? Go to part 2.
My roommate tried to ruin my life, so I ruined hers instead. Story time. So a few months ago, I moved into this amazing apartment with a new roommate. She seemed super chill. One time she baked a load of cookies for our neighbours, but over time things really started to switch. There was little things like she'd borrow my clothes without asking, she'd eat my food out of the fridge, and when I called her out on it, she'd act like it wasn't a big deal. Didn't want to rock the boat too much at the start, so I let all of these things slide. Then one night I come home to a letter taped to our front door. A very official looking letter. It was a letter, it was a notice from our landlord saying violations of lease agreement. I'm like, what violations, babe? And if it carried on, I'd be evicted. So when I asked Amy about it, she was super confused. She was like, I've got no idea what that's about. But this is when the landlord called me directly. He said that he was getting complaints about really loud parties. There was a lot of damage caused to the common areas. Now, none of which I knew anything about, nor was I involved in. This is when I started to pay attention. I looked at when these reports were being made. It was every time I would be out of the house. Amy was throwing these absolute rages, pretending that they were my parties. One night I stayed at a friend's house, and I went onto Amy's Instagram and saw all of these tagged pictures with my flat looking like an absolute shithole. Beer bottles everywhere, broken glass, literally the works. And guess who was tagged in the pictures? Amy and me. Like, hang on a damn sec, I wasn't even there. I confronted Amy about this and she went full-blown gaslight mode. She was like, oh, those pictures are old. You must have forgotten you were there. No, Amy, I wasn't even in the city. That's not even the worst part. Fast forward a few weeks, I get another notice. And it was that, again, I was being asked to leave due to violating the lease, and that Amy was the one that had filed the complaint. An official complaint, might I add. She'd claimed I was throwing parties, I was damaging property. She even mentioned that I'd been stealing her stuff, wearing her clothes without permission. Does this sound familiar? I was losing my mind at this point. It's when I decided I'd literally had enough. I went through all of the security footage in the lobby, in the common areas, the hallways, in the lift. Something she clearly did not think about when she was filing all these complaints. And guess what? The tapes showed her doing everything that she accused me of doing. And there was even a couple of little clips of her doing some funky stuff with another lad in the lift. So I took all of this, printed the pictures out from Instagram, and I confronted her with it. She absolutely lost it, screaming that I was going to ruin her life, that I didn't know what it was like to let loose. Anyway, I said, listen, you can get in touch with the landlord if you want. She refused to do. So I got in touch with the landlord, you know? So not only did Amy get evicted, right? She got blacklisted from renting in any other property in our city because of the amount of damage that she caused. And yeah, she ended up paying every single cent back. So Amy tried to ruin my life, but now she's the one sofa surfing. No apartment and no credibility. Do you think I went a little bit too far, and was I too harsh?
Get ready with me to go catch my boyfriend cheating on me. I was getting ready and I was like, oh, I might as well film this so that I don't like cry, but I want to do a story time on what the situation is. So one thing about me is I'm really close with my family, like super, super close. Yeah. And you may also know that me and my cousin Erica are like best friends. We are roommates, so there's that. And we've just always been super close. We're the same age. Well, we also have other things in common. She is going over to my boyfriend's house tonight to hook up. Oh my god, Fez from Euphoria died. Oh my god. Oh my. Oh my god, that's so awful. This is just a day of mourning. I'm now fully depressed because... Anyway. Basically, my boyfriend went on a family vacation with us to Alaska, and Erica and him got along really well. And I was really glad to see, like, my family bond really well with my boyfriend because, like, my family's not very welcoming, or they're hard to, like, get really close with at first. So I was really proud of him for getting close with my cousins, a little too close apparently. But there was a night where I felt really sick and I went to bed and he stayed out with her. And I was like, this is kind of sus. Like, I don't know how I feel about this, but like, whatever. Yeah, like, he's my boyfriend. I'm glad he's bonding with my family. I shouldn't be sus. So I was like, all right, whatever. They were both like drunk out of their mind too. So they go out together, come back. The next day, everything's a little bit quiet and awkward. And I was like, I thought we were all getting along, like what happened? But apparently last night was really boring. That's what they said. I was like, okay, whatever. So we get home, we go to Country Thunder, I bring my boyfriend. I heard a rumor that in the porta potties, because they use porta potties because it's fucking disgusting, I heard a rumor that my boyfriend followed my cousin into the porta potty. So I was kind of like down in the dumps, like what the fuck? So I asked her and she said that he was helping her with her dress because the zipper got stuck. So I was like, I could have helped you with that, but okay. So like in 2018 when like doing people's streaks was a thing, I did Erica's, so I still have her password saved. So I logged in to her Snapchat and asked him if he wanted to do fun things tonight, and he said yes. So I will be there waiting to yell at him. And then she logged in and she kept going along with it. So I'm gonna give you part 2, an update of what's going on, but
I was talking to this guy until, except it progressively gets worse. I was talking to this guy until he would constantly feel the need to tell me about all of his past hookups in great detail and claimed that he needed a girl like me to tie him down. I was talking with this guy until he would go like a week without texting me back. And then when I would ask him about it, he would immediately change the subject. I don't know if he was trying to have a competition of who can go the longest without responding, but spoiler alert, I won. I was talking to this guy until he randomly posted an Instagram note talking about how he can be 70 and he'll never stop loving his ex. I was talking to this guy until he went and asked my friend if I was a whore and asked her what my body count was. I was talking to this guy until we were in an argument and he asked me why he has to be the only one that's the man in the relationship. I'm gonna give you a good minute to think about that one. I was talking with this guy until we were having a conversation about how we both want careers in computer science, and he randomly said, "Wow, our kids are gonna be so spoiled." I knew this man for 3 days. I was talking with this guy until he told his homeboy to run and chase after me in the middle of the day, all because I didn't respond to his text. When I say run, I mean literally run. It was the scariest thing ever. I was talking to this guy until he said he was gonna post me, which I thought was weird because we weren't even locked in for real. He posted me to his close friends, and turns out I was the only person on the close friends. He even took my own spam account off of the close friends. I was talking to this guy until he texted me that he was in my neighborhood. Whole time I never gave him my address. I could make many parts, but we are finished. Deuces, deuces, and deuces.
Get ready with me while I talk about things that I thought were normal growing up that apparently weren't actually normal. Disclaimer, if you hear something running, it's just my dog. So this is actually going to be my mom's ex-boyfriend edition. Yay! As if we haven't had enough of him. There's just so much lore that I can give on him. Also, why is my hair doing this? Anyway, so for backstory, my mom dated this guy for a good 10 years of my life. So we have a lot of things that we could talk about. A lot of things. First thing that I remember him doing growing up was if I would take a shower at my mom's house, I would be literally butt booty naked in the bathroom. And he would pretend to try to come in the bathroom, and he would jiggle the door handle like he was gonna come in. And I remember I would be screaming, crying, not wanting this man to come in the bathroom because obviously I'm butt booty naked. I don't want this grown creepy man coming in the bathroom. And he would play it off as a joke, oh, I'm gonna come in there. Please stop. Get some help. Actually get some help. He would also chase us around the house, playing around, I guess. I don't know. He would chase us around the house, and then I specifically remember one time, he chased me into, him and my mom's room and shut the door behind me. I was not okay with that. I was not okay. Literally flipped out, and I was, underneath the bed, and he had shut the door behind me. No, something weird feeling, I guess. My hair is really not wanting to, straighten all the way, but this is what we're going to work with. Oh! I'm literally almost out of this, but I love it so much. Just a little bit goes a long way. I can't think. Well, I think 7th grade, and I remember my mom told him, in passing, that I started my period, and this man proceeded to inquire or raise concern about the underwear that I was wearing at the time, and said that my mom needed me to go, needed to take me to go to get me some thongs, because he didn't want me to get made fun of because of the underwear that I was wearing. So I, as a middle schooler, needed to be wearing thongs, and he was very concerned with the underwear that I was wearing. Keep in mind, I'm in middle school, and he's mid-40s. No grown man should worry about the underwear that I'm wearing. Thanks though, I guess. Bro was just looking out for me, maybe, I don't know. Also, don't come for me for the way I do my makeup. I never learned how. This is just what works. This is just what looks good, okay? Nala, can you stop sniffing my butt, please? Ah! Smells like they shat in here. Anyways, I just talked about the period. Yes, I did. Another thing was we would go on like family vacation to the beach every single year. That's a lot of concealer. But we would go on family vacation to the beach every year. And one year we had gone, and I specifically remember like he was always taking pictures like on his phone or whatever. But fast forward like from the trip to him at work. He apparently had his phone, and some of his coworkers had gotten a hold of the phone and seen pictures of me specifically in my bikini at like probably like 13, 14 years old. And they all started making comments and appropriately talking about me, thinking that I'm not, you know, a minor. And he apparently thinks it's funny, comes home, tells me and my mom about it, and it's like laughing about it, about how these like grown men were talking about my minor body as if I was like a grown woman, and then proceeded to say, let me hold y'all's hand when I say this. Well, I can see what they meant because you just have a really, like, developed body for your age. Like, you don't look your age. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm a child. Okay. I need to calm down. What? Like, are you hearing yourself? Are you literally hearing yourself right now? I don't think you are, so I'm just gonna... You're done speaking! There's just, like, weird stuff. Like, when I was on my period, he would call me his little ketchup packet. Specifically his. I don't know why it had to be his ketchup packet. I don't know. But I was. So, hello. He would also, like, smack my butt. As, like, I'm, like, 16 now, and he's, like, a grown man, and he would, like, slap my butt. What? And he would just, like, have, like, wandering eyes, like, you could tell. Like, I would literally catch this man, like, checking my butt out as I'm, like, walking to the house. I will literally chop your dick off. Like, I don't think you understand. There's also this one time at the beach that he did not have very appropriate hands with me. And I didn't know that it wasn't appropriate hands until I was very much older, and I told my boyfriend about it, and my boyfriend was like, baby girl, that's like assault. I was like, oh. The good thing is he's no longer in my life anymore. As y'all might have seen in the other video, I literally did everything that I could to get this man out of my house, and I succeeded. I literally love this stuff. I don't know what it is, but I got it in a package. So yeah, that's just like summary of this man. Anyways, yeah. But anyways, that was my get ready with me. I hate that man more than anybody else on this planet. He's literally the bane of my existence. I hope that he rots in hell. I'm a hater to the day that I die. Anyways, bye.
Let me tell you guys about how I literally got played today by my ex's mom. Yeah, my ex's mom. Oh, there comes my dog. So, and I'm a nail tech. I do nails, right? And his mom has been getting her nails done with me for the longest time, right? Like, ever since I started doing nails, she comes to get her nails done with me. So obviously he's my ex, we broke up, but she still comes to get her nails done with me, you know, like, we don't talk about it, you know, but obviously we both know, like, she knows obviously that we're not together, and like, we know what's up, you know, like, she doesn't talk about him, like, I don't talk about him, we don't bring him up, right? So today she came to get her nails done with me, right? Like, nothing crazy, you know, but long story short, okay, so point of it was my mom is home because she had surgery, so she has to be home. And so they were talking, right? And I guess like she gets a lot of spam calls, like small. And so I was like, oh, like why don't you block them? She was like, oh, I do block them. And then so we were done. I was done doing her nails, and she got a spam call, or what she thought was a spam call. And so she was like, here, can you answer? She doesn't speak English very well. So she was like, here, can you answer to see who it is? Because she thought it was a spam call. Because I was like, oh, like, have you answered before to see like who the spam call is from? And she was like, no. And so right when we were talking about it, she got a spam, what she thought was a spam call, she got a call from an unknown number, right? Let me get my powder ready. So, oh yeah, so she was like, hey, like, can you answer? Because we were in my living room, so she was talking with my mom, and she was like, here, can you answer, like, see who it is, like, so you can tell them to, like, stop calling me. And I was like, yeah, you know. So I took her phone and I answered, and I was like, hello, you know, like getting ready to be like, stop calling her type, you know. I say hello and no one's answering, and I was like, this is weird. And then I hear hello, and it was him. It was him. Like, why was it him? And so I was like, obviously, like, I recognized his voice, and then I didn't say anything, and I just gave her the phone back, and I was like, oh, here, like, it's, and I said his name, and she was confused because it was like a random number. Like, obviously she has like his number saved, you know, like it's gonna pop up as the contact, and this one was a random number. And so she was confused, like we were all confused, like everyone was confused. So I gave her phone back, and I was like, oh, it's da-da-da. And then she was like, what? And so she answered, and she was like, well, I don't know, whatever explanation like he gave her, you know. But in my head, I'm like, obviously he was calling his mom, not expecting for me to answer, and I was answering, not expecting him to answer the phone, you know, like. And so I was like, in that very moment, like, I was like, did she just set me up? Like, obviously she didn't know, like, she like did not know. And it looked like she was kind of like, oh shit, like what did I just do type of face. And yeah, like that happened, and I was like, oh wow, like ain't no way his own mom just set me up. She just played me. Like, I'm saying this as a joke, by the way. Like, I know she wouldn't like do something like that, like on purpose to me. But yeah, in that very moment, I literally felt so played. I was like, ain't no way that just happened to me right now. Like, in my little head, I was like, what in the world just happened? I literally don't have any clean press powder things, puffs, whatever they're called. So I'm using my brush, and I really hope my makeup doesn't turn out bad, because I'm looking in a rush now. But yeah, guys, that's what happened to me today. We didn't end up on good terms, me and him, and we haven't talked since we broke up. And obviously I don't plan to talk to him, so that's why it was like very awkward, and how do I say, I felt very played at the time by his mom. I'm not gonna lie. I was literally like there afterwards, I'm like, did this really just happen to me? Like, out of all the spam calls that she could have got any other time, like, she was genuinely confused, so I know she didn't do it on purpose. Like, but I was just sitting there like, ain't no way, like, ain't no way. And the only reason I do her nails is because she didn't do anything to me, you know. Like, I feel like I have a good heart, or I mean, like, I'm not perfect or anything, you know, like I'm not a saint, but his mom didn't do anything to me, and like she's the one that decides to come to me. Like I can respect that, and she hasn't done anything to like cross a line or cross a boundary, so that's kind of why I still take her in. But yeah, like I don't know, I kind of thought that was funny, so I'm like, maybe you guys will think that's funny. If it wasn't funny, let me know, because then there's something wrong with me. Anyways, I really have to hurry up. Like, I'm over here yapping, just yapping and yapping. I have like 20 minutes to finish my makeup, and then I have to do my hair. It was a lot of blush. Guys, this is the final look. Here's my makeup. Not the best, but I don't really care.